Hi everyone. So for today, we will discuss the second topic in pharmacology, which is medications and calculations. So let me first share my screen with you. Okay. So when we talk about medications and calculations, it's very important that we know the systems of measurement. There are three known, well-known systems of measurement: the metric system, the apothecary system, and the household system. So, see, metric system, it's an internationally recognized unit or system of measurement known as International System of Units. So, it measures weight. So, weight, it uses gram. Sa volume, it uses liter. Sa height, it uses meter. It can also measure mass, length, distance, area, speed, or time. Okay? Si apothecary naman, on the other hand, it is something that is historically used. Before, it is used in medical recipes by physicians and scientists during the older times. So, sa weight, they use grain. Sa volume naman, they use ounce. And the third is the household system. It is what we see as being used in the kitchen. So, weight in a pounds, and the volume, no, we measure it by teaspoon. Okay, those are just some of the examples of the different units of measurement. Now, when calculating drugs, it's very important that we know conversions and calculating weight, volume, and height. Okay, also, you have to know the different abbreviations. You have to use only the universally accepted abbreviations. Most of them are in small letters, pero meron ding mga capital letters. For example, kilo, no? Kilo could be small k or capital K. Gram could be small g or capital G. Liter could be small l or capital L. Meter, small m or capital M. Uh, Tablespoon, it's a capital T. The small t is teaspoon. And the C for cup, no? Either small or capital. So, dapat alam natin yung universally accepted abbreviations. You have to memorize them. It's in the book, also the different conversions. So let us discuss each of these systems of measurement one by one. For the metric system, it's a decimal system based on the power of 10. So see weight, no? Gram, kilogram, how to convert 1,000 grams, 1 kilogram, no? Milligram, 1,000 milligrams, 1 gram. Microgram, 1,000 micrograms is 1 milligram. No? And nanogram, 1 million nanogram is 1 milligram. In terms of volume, so liter and milliliter, 1,000 ml is 1 liter. In terms of height, ang metric system uses meter, centimeter, so 100 centimeter is 1 meter. Millimeter, 1,000 mm is 1 meter. Okay? Another is the apothecary system. Sa apothecary system, no, now all manufactured drugs use the metric system in their labels, but occasionally ounce and grain are used. So nurses must be familiar with them too. So when we talk about weight, apothecary system uses grain, no? 1 grain is 60 milligrams. Pound, no? To convert that, 1 kilo is 2.2 pounds. In terms of volume, no? 1 ounce is 30 ml. Dram, 8 grams is 1 ounce, no? Minim, 1 minim is also equivalent to 1 drop. Quart, uh, a quart is approximately 1,000 ml. And the pint, no, yung ice cream pint, we all know them by calling it a ice cream pint. 1 pint is 500 ml. In terms of weight, it uses inches. So 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. Okay? For the household system, no, it is not as accurate as the metric system because of a lack of standardization of household spoons, cups, and glasses. No, kasi we can buy them in malls na iba-iba yung sukat niya, hindi standard. So, measurements are actually just appropriate. So, si weight, pound din ang household system. Volume, so teaspoon, 1 teaspoon is 5 ml. 1 tablespoon is 15 ml. 1 cup is about 240, sorry, that's 1 glass. No, 1 cup is 180 ml. 1 glass is 240 ml. And 1 drop is about 15 ml. Okay? 15 drops is about 1 ml. So, si height, ganun din, inches ang gamit ng household system. Now, let us go to the basic formula. You just have to memorize this formula when computing drugs. Siyempre, para makapag-compute ng drugs, kailangan alam nyo ang mga conversion factors na nabanggit ko kanina. You have to review them and memorize them. Everything is in the book. So, to be able to compute how much are you going to give in a patient, you have to memorize this formula. D over H times Q equals X. Okay? Ano si D? Siya yung desired dose. Yung dose na kailangan mong ibigay sa patient. Doses are actually weights. So they come in milligrams, they come in microgram, they come in grams. Okay? So yung mga weight na binanggit natin kanina. H is the stock dose or it's the dose on hand. Meaning, ito yung commercially available na dose na ginawa coming from the pharmaceutical company. Pag nabili mo yung gamot or pag nakuha mo yung gamot sa pharmacy, ito yung stock dose. Okay? Q is the quantity, the volume, or the drug form. So when you talk about quantity, volume, or drug form, yan yung ml, yan yung ilang cc, no? 1 ml is approximately 1 cc. Or kung hindi naman liquid yung gamot, it could be 1 tablet or 1 capsule. And the X, siya yung amount na ibibigay. So syempre, its measurement is also in quantity. Kung oral drugs yan, dapat yung X natin, capsule or tablet. Kung liquid drug naman siya, whether the liquid drug is to be given orally or the liquid drug is to be given parenterally or through injection, ang unit of measurement niya is in ml, in cc, no? Lalo na ang mga syringes natin or the measuring tools available are almost all in ml or cc. Okay, so again, memorize this, D over H times Q. Okay, so now let's have an example. You are to give oral drugs, capsule siya. So you have to give 0.5 grams of cefaclor per orem BID. Cefaclor is an antibiotic. Okay? Now, so ano nga ulit yung formula natin? So I will write the formula. D over H times Q equals X. Okay, so do not forget that formula. So let us try to have the first example again. Ang sabi, 0.5 grams of cefaclor per orem BID. So D over H times Q para malaman natin yung X. What is your D? Ang D is the desired dose. So ibig sabihin, gaano daw karami yung ibibigay mo sa patient? 0.5 grams. So your D is 0.5 grams. Okay? Now, what is your dose on hand? Yung dose on hand, you have to check the bottle. The dose on hand here says 250 milligrams each capsule. Okay? So yung dose on hand is 250 milligrams. So H is 250 milligrams. What is your quantity? Your quantity, okay, is each capsule. So which means, ang isang capsule, 250 milligrams. So ang ilalagay natin dito sa Q is 1 cap equals your X. Okay? Now, of course, you have to know your mathematics. You cannot divide gram to milligram. So you simply convert the bigger to the smaller. Kaya yung gram, i-convert natin siya into milligrams. 1,000 milligram is equal to 1 gram. So pag kinonvert nyo ang 0.5 grams to milligrams, the answer is 500 milligrams. Okay? You can only divide if the unit of measurement is the same. So D, or desired dose, is 500 milligrams. Your dose on hand, or the stock dose, is 250 mg. Your quantity is 1 cap. So, syempre, makakancel na yung milligram. Pag na-cancel yung milligram, ang tira na lang sa atin na unit ay ang quantity, which is cap. So, what is the answer? The answer is 2 capsules. So, you are to give 2 capsules to your patient, no? Kasi yun yung quantity ng 0.5 grams ng cefaclor. Okay? Another example, you have to give aspirin 650 mg per orem Q4 PRN. This time, no, nakita mo doon sa bottle that it is in tablets. So again, what is our D for the desired dose? Ang kailangan nating ibigay sa patient, desired dose is 650 mg. So, D over H times Q equals X, 650 mg. Okay, what is our H? Dose on hand. It says 325 mg tablet. Okay, so our H is 325 mg. What is the quantity? It is 1 tablet. Okay, pareho naman siya na mg. So I can easily cancel mg. Ang matitira sa akin, tablet. So 650 divided by 325 times 1 tab is 2 tabs. So the answer is I am to give 2 tablets to this patient requiring 650 mg of aspirin. So ang aspirin ay isang NSAID, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug for fever, for pain, but among adults, again, it can be used as an anti-platelet drug to make the blood thinner. Okay? Let's have another example. Paano naman kapag yung oral drug comes in a liquid form? So for example, the physician orders 1,500 mg of liquid ibuprofen for a child. So ang ibuprofen, it is also an NSAID. It's a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. Pwede for pain, pwede for fever. Okay? The preparation is 100 mg per 5 ml. So isinulat na mismo dito yung preparation, which means ito yung H, ito yung Q. Pag tinignan mo yung bottle, ganun din siya. 100 mg per 5 ml. So, ito yung H, ito yung Q. What is your D? 1,500 milligrams. Okay? So, if I will now use my math again, my D, desired dose is 1,500 mg. My H is 100 mg. Okay? And what is my quantity? It's 5 ml because it is 100 mg per 5 ml. So if you are to divide that, no, the answer is 1,500 divided by 100 times 5 is 75 ml. This is just an example. Okay, obviously, the 75 ml is too big a dose for a child. Pero example lang yan. Okay, but still, the given is 1,500 mg divided by 100 mg times 5, which is D over H times Q. Pero in reality, you do not give a 75 ml ibuprofen for a child. So example lang itong computation na ito. Okay? Now, let's go now to parenteral drugs. So yung gamot, i-inject mo siya, which means you need to aspirate it in a syringe. Okay? So you were taught sa RETDEM, no, of you will be taught of aspirating drugs, no, via vials and ampules. So order is furosemide 10 mg IV Q12. The solution is available in a 4 ml bottle. Okay, furosemide is a diuretic. So what is our D? Desired dose is 10 mg. Now, it says the solution is available in 4 ml bottle, which means itong bottle na ito, which we specifically call a vial, 4 ml ang laman. Okay? Ngayon, yung 4 ml na yan, ilan ngayon yung dose? Nakalagay dyan, 40 mg. Dito kayo hindi pwedeng malito. Okay? Kasi, tignan nyo, meron pang isang unit of measurement dito. which is 10 mg per ml. Kung meron kayong makikitang ganito, nagka-combine yung weight and the volume, kasi may per, sila yung magka-partner na H and Q. Ito naman, nakaseparate sila, sila yung magka-partner na H and Q. Okay? So you can use any. Alright? Pero I suggest, para hindi kayo malito at may nakikita kayo lagi na mg per ml. Okay? Yung magka-partner, yun na lang yung gamitin nyo na H and Q. So, dose on hand is 10 mg, quantity 1 ml. But if you will use 40 mg as dose on hand, ito yung gagamitin mo na quantity, which is 4 ml. Pag tinignan mo, pareho lang yan, di ba? 40 per 4 is 10 per 1. That's the same. So, huwag kayong malilito kapag tumitingin kayo sa mga bottles ng gamot, no? And you are actually getting the H and the Q. Okay? So, let us compute this. What is our D? No? Ang sabi, furosemide, 10 mg. Okay? Now, what is our H? I wanna use kung ano yung may per mismo. No? Kasi siya talaga yung magka-partner, magkatabi mismo sila, mas hindi ka malilito. So, gagamitin ko yung 10 mg per ml. So, ang aking dose on hand is also 10 mg. Okay? And what is my quantity? 10 mg per ml nakalagay. So, that is 1 ml. Okay? And it is easier kasi mas maliit yung dosages, mas madaling i-compute. So, obviously, the answer is 1 ml. Okay? So, again, huwag kakalimutan, kapag may nakikita kayo ng mga liquid preparations na nakakombine, no, yung weight at yung volume, may nakalagay na per ml, sila yung magka-partner lagi na H and Q. Okay? Now, let's have another example. Parenteral drug din siya, but it comes in powder form. Hindi siya commercially prepared na liquid form. Obviously, you cannot administer a powder form ng parenteral. Principle of the pharmacotic phase. Kailangan ng gawing solution. Okay, now, amoxicillin is an antibiotic. Give 0.5 grams IMQ8. You will see here, para maging liquid form siya, the nurse incorporated 5 ml of sterile water in a 500 mg powder of drug in a vial. So, ito ay 500 mg. So, ano yung 500 mg na yan? Yan yung H. Siya yung dose on hand. Nilagyan ng nurse ng 5 ml ng sterile water. So, ano ngayon yung 5 ml? Siya yung quantity. So, what is our desired dose? 0.5 grams. What is our dose on hand? 500 mg. And what is our quantity? Kung ano yung dinagdag mo? 5 ml. The standard rule is, or the universal rule is, for every 100 milligrams of powder drug, you incorporate 1 ml of sterile water. So again, no, ang standard or universal rule, kapag powder yung mga drugs, for every 100 mg ng powder drug, idadilute mo siya sa 1 ml ng sterile water. May mga gamot pwedeng i-dilute sa NSS, may mga gamot pwedeng i-dilute sa ibang IV fluids, no? So, depende siya. Okay? So, if we follow this 500 mg, following the universal rule, tama naman. na 5 ml siya idadilute. Pero hindi lahat ng gamot fina-follow itong universal rule na yan. Kasi minsan may mga gamot na masyadong masakit pag in-inject. So, mas advantage na mas idadilute mo siya para medyo maging mas malabnaw. So, depende rin yon sa mga hospital policies. But this is the universal rule. Okay? So, again, what is our D? Ito. What is our H? Ito. At what is our Q? Kung gaano kadami yung idadagdag mo. Which also reminds me, if you are the nurse incorporating the liquid solution to a powder form drug, you always have to note the bottle. Minsan, merong natitira dito at pwede bang gamitin sa ibang shift or next dose. Hindi na ikaw yung next nurse. Okay? So, pag kinuha ng next nurse yung vial, paano niya malalaman yung times Q? Hindi naman siya yung nag-dilute nun. So, importante na naka-label dito kung gaano karaming diluent ang inilagay ng previous nurse. Okay? So that when the next nurse computes, tama pa rin yung magiging dosage niya. Kasi sa powder form drugs, kung gaano karami yung pinang-dilute mo, ganon karami yung times Q. Alright? So going back, the D is 0.5 grams. Okay? Your H is 500 mg. And the quantity is, gaano karami ang pinang-dilute natin? 5 ml equals X. You cannot divide a gram to a milligram. So again, 1,000 milligrams is equivalent to 1 gram. Kaya, when you convert that, no, the answer is 5 ml. Okay, kasi 0.5 gram will be 500 milligrams divided by 500 milligrams is 1 times 5 is 5 ml. So 5 ml is the answer to this question. Okay? Now, merong ibang mga gamot na ipinabibigay ng doktor depende sa bigat ng pasyente. This is especially true among children. Okay? Now, when we always consider the body weight when computing drugs, we have to remember that the dosage you want per day is multiplied to the weight of a child or of a client. So again, yung dosage, which is usually milligram, na gusto mo sa isang araw. F stands for frequency. No? So kung siya ay once a day binibigay, so 1. Kung siya ay BID binibigay, 2. Kung siya ay TID binibigay, 3. Kung siya ay Q8 binibigay, 3 din. Kung siya ay Q6 binibigay, 4. So, yung frequency per day. Okay? So, ano yung dosage? Sa isang buong araw. I-multiply mo kung gaano kabigat yung patient, usually, it's in kilograms. At ano yung makukuha mong result? Yung D. Ano nga ulit yung D? Desired dose. So, go back to the D over H times Q. So, ibig sabihin, yung desired dose, gaano kadami sa isang dose, which means gaano karami per administration. Ito kasi, gaano kadami per day. Pero ang gusto nating malaman, yung desired dose, gaano karami per administration. If it is parenteral, gaano karaming dose per injection. Alright? So, the dosage may also come in other units, pero usually milligram. The weight also may come in other units, pero ang nilagay natin dito, kilogram. Siya kasi yung usual. Let us have an example. Alright? So, fluorouracil, 12 mg per kilo per day is what is desired. IV, not to exceed 800 mg per day. The client weighs 132 pounds. You have to give the drug BID, so twice a day. How much dose will be prepared per administration of drug? Alright? So, ang tinatanong is D, dosage per administration. So, let's now write here the other formula. So, you have to always get the weight and the volume, no, na gusto mong malaman. Kasi may kino-consider tayo dito na timbang ng bata. Alright, the formula is dosage multiply mo sa bigat. Okay. Which is divided into gaano kadami siya ibinibigay, frequency per day. Okay? Now, ang magiging sagot natin dyan, yung dose, which is, ano yung dosage? Per administration. Alright. So, going back, ilang milligrams yung required per day. So, 12 mg per kilo per day. So, ilang milligrams daw per day? 12 mg. Alright? Saan mo siya i-multiply? Sa kilo. Ilang kilo ba yung bata? 132 pounds. So, 132 pounds, you have to convert into kilo. And 1 kilo is 2.2 pounds. So, if you compute that, ang lalabas na sagot ay 60 kilograms. So, 12 mg times kilo. Okay, ang tanong, ilan ang frequency ngayon per day? Okay, let's go back to the scenario. Gaano ba kadalas ibinibigay yung 12 mg na yon sa isang araw? BID. Which means, ano yung nandito? 2 mg. Okay? So, anong ilalagay natin dito sa kilo? 60. So, 12 mg times 60 divided by 2. Ang magiging sagot dyan, 360 mg. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, every time I administer fluorouracil, ang binibigay ko sa patient, 360 mg. Which is, let's look at the scenario here. Hindi daw dapat mag-exceed ng 800 milligrams per day. 360 is per dose. Okay? Ilang beses ko ba siyang binibigay per day? Twice. So, kapag minultiply mo yan actually sa dalawa, kasi twice mo siyang binibigay, ilang dosage ka ngayon per day? It is 720 mg per day. Tama ba na 720 mg per day lang? Yes, kasi hindi daw dapat mag-exceed ng 800 mg per day. But the answer to this question is 360 mg. Okay? Another example. A 10-year-old child is prescribed 125 mg of a drug 4 times daily. So may nakita ka na naman dito na timbang. So kapag may timbang, no, yung formula na mg times kilogram divided by frequency per day equals D. So yun yung kailangan mong formula. Alright? The child weighs 88 pounds. How many mg per kilo per day will be ordered for this child? Okay. So dito sa tanong na to, ang hinahanap kung ilang mg per day. Hindi yung ilang mg per dose. Alright? Hindi siya yung D. Given kasi yung D. So, ang hinahanap dito yung mg per day. Which means, I will delete this. Ang hinahanap yung mg per day. Okay? So, following the same formula. Pero ito nga lang yung hinahanap. Let's say, for example, it's y. No? Ang hinahanap natin is y, the value of y. Y mg times, kasi ito yung hinahanap natin eh. Okay? Y mg times ilang kilo? So, ilang kilo ba yung bata? 88 pounds. 88 pounds, when you convert that to kilo, no, 1 kilo is 2.2 pounds, so it's 40 kilograms. So YMG times 40 kilogram. Okay, now, divided by frequency per day. Ano ba yung frequency per day? 4 times daily ibinibigay yung 125 mg of a drug. Which means that you have to give the drug 4 times daily. Okay, ngayon, ano yung mg per dose? It's given 125 mg yung dosage niya per administration. Kaya nga sinabing 125 4 times a day. Okay, so yung 125 mg, siya na yung D. Alright? So, 125 mg. So, ito na yung importante sa mathematics ninyo. So, yung mga algebra. Okay? Basta't meron ditong equal sign, pwede mo siyang i-cross multiply. At silang dalawa dito, ganun din, multiply. So, alisin muna natin yung mga units of measurement. Okay? Y times 40 is equal to 40y. Equals, pwede siyang i-cross multiply, di ba? Kasi may equal sign. 125 times 4 is 500. Okay, anong hinahanap natin? Yung value of y. So, para mahanap natin yung value of y, we can divide both sides by 40. Okay, so when we divide both sides by 40, 40 divided by 40, cancel. Ang matitira, y. And then, 500 divided by 40 is 12.5. So, ano yung 12.5? Ano nga yung hinahanap natin? Si mg per day. So, 125 or 12.5 mg per kilo per day. Okay? Yan yung hinahanap. Kasi ang tanong, how many mg per kilo per day? You just use the same formula, inayos mo lang yung mathematics, no? Para makuha mo yung hinahanap na mg per kilo per day. Okay? Let's have another example when we compute using body weight. So lanoxin, 0.15 mg Q12 is ordered as a maintenance dose for a 9-year-old child who weighs 70 pounds. The recommended maintenance pediatric dosage of lanoxin tablets is 7 to 10 microgram per kilogram per day. So may nakita ka na naman dyan na timbang. Divided and given in 2 equal doses per day. What is the minimum daily dosage for this child? Okay, ano ulit ang hinahanap? Ito ulit yung hinahanap. Yung dosage per day. Pero hindi siya mg. Okay, papalitan mo lang siya ng microgram. Kasi ang given ay microgram. Alright, ngayon, ano yung kailangan nating makita? What is the minimum daily dosage for this child? Right? Look at this. Lanoxin tablet is 7 to 10 microgram per kilogram per day. Okay? Sinabi na nga dyan 7 to 10. So, ano yung minimum? 7. Alright? So, 7 microgram per kilogram per day. 7 microgram. Alright? Next, i-multiply ko siya sa kilo. Ano ngayon yung kilo? 70 pounds. So, 70 pounds convert to kilo. 1 kilo is 2.2 pounds. So, 70 divided by 2.2, 31.8 kilograms. Now, to be standard, when we are getting weights, we use 1 decimal point. Okay? So, 7 microgram times 31.8 kilo. Okay, next. Ito ngayon yung per day. Diba? So, 7 minimum microgram per kilo per day, which means, ano yun nandito sa divided by 1. Kasi, per day siya. So, isang beses siya na binibigay sa isang araw. So, if you now compute that, 7 microgram times 31.8 kilogram divided by 1, ang magiging sagot ay 222.6 microgram per day. Okay, now, ang hinahanap natin milligram. Diba? Kasi yung lanoxin na given dito 0.15 milligrams naman. So, i-convert natin yung 222.6 microgram into milligram per day, which is 1,000 micrograms is 1 milligram. So, magiging 0.22 mg per day. Okay, so ito yung sagot. 0.22 mg per day yung binibigay for this child. Now, let us check. Okay, i-check natin tama kaya na ang binibigay sa kanya 0.22 mg per day? Okay, ano ba yung binibigay sa bata? 0.15 mg Q12. Alright, ibig sabihin, yung binibigay sa batang ito, 0.15 mg Q12. So kung Q12 siya, ilang beses binibigay sa kanya? Dalawa. Okay, so 0.15 mg times 2. Ilan ang binibigay sa bata ngayon per day? Yun yung actual. Ang binibigay sa bata per day is 0.30 mg per day. Ito yung actual dose na binibigay sa bata per day. Pasok ba siya doon sa 0.22? Yung 0.22 is the minimum, right? So, tama lang yung binibigay sa kanya na 0.30 mg per day. Kasi beyond siya nung required minimum na 0.22 mg per day. Okay? So again, ang inalam natin dito, ano ba yung minimum daily dosage na pwede sa batang yan? Kasi nakalagay 7 to 10 per day. Okay? Yun pala, itong 7 microgram per day na ito is actually 0.22. Yung binibigay sa kanya, 2.15 sa isang araw, which is 0.30. So, tama siya. Okay? Kasi more than siya doon sa minimum. And for sure, hindi naman siya lalagpas ng maximum na 10. Alright? Now, another example. What if in the given scenario, hindi lang weight ang kinoconsider? Okay? Kasi yung mga nakaraang example natin, ang kinoconsider body weight. Tapos i-multiply mo doon sa milligram. So in this case, ang kailangan natin, body surface area. Alright? When we are pertaining to body surface area, ang unit of measurement niyan, meters squared or m squared. Alright? What do we need to get from the patient? Aside from the weight, we also get the height. So, pag kinuha mo yung weight, pwedeng pound, pwedeng kilogram. Pag kinuha mo yung height, pwedeng centimeter, pwedeng inches. And to be able to get that, the body surface area or the BSA, we need this chart. Ang chart na ito, ang tawag dito ay nomogram. Okay, so makikita mo dito, height, pwedeng centimeter, pwedeng inches. Weight, pwedeng pound, pwedeng kilogram. Centimeter, inches in height, pound, kilogram in weight. Tapos, nasaan yung m squared? Ito siya, yung body surface area. Alright? This separate rectangle is for children. Okay? So, ito ngayon yung formula ulit. It's the same formula. Pinalitan mo lang yung kilograms dito into meters squared. Alright? Ito rin yung formula kanina, no? Yung dosage per day, gaano kadalas binibigay per day. And then, kanina, ito yung weight in kilo. Pero ngayon, body surface area na siya kasi hindi lang siya weight. Height and weight, which is in m squared. And then, yun ulit yung D, desired dose, gaano karami ang dosage per administration. Alright, just the same formula as in weight, but replace kilogram sa meter squared. Let's have now an example. The order is mefenitoin, 200 mg per m squared per day per RM in 3 divided doses. The drug comes in a 10 ml solution bottle of 20 mg per 2 ml. If child is 47 inches tall and weighs 40.5 kilogram, what is the amount to give per administration? So, hanapin muna natin yung tinatanong. What is the amount to give per administration? So, kung ito yung formula, the same formula, di ba? Pero, ano yung ginawa natin doon sa kilogram? Pinalitan natin siya ng squared. Alright? So, ang hinahanap, amount per administration, which means, ang hinahanap natin, ito. Gaano kadami per administration, gaano kadami per dose na magbibigay ka. Okay? Now, given dyan yung height, 47 inches, and weight, 40.5 kilo. So, yun yung kailangan nating makuha muna yung meter squared. So, remember, 47 inches tall, 40.5 kilogram weight. So, use the nomogram. Ano nga yung kanyang height? 47 inches. So, inches, somewhere over here. Alright, ano nga yung kanyang weight? 40.5 kilo. So, ito yung kilo. 40.5 is somewhere there. So, yung dalawang yon, connect the dots on a straight line and then look from where it intersects in the BSA. So, saan siya nag-intersect? 1.2 meters squared. Okay, so what is our m squared now? Your m squared is 1.2 meters squared. Okay, so let's now go over the formula. mg, 200 mg per m squared per day. So, 200 mg times m squared. Ano nga yung m squared na nakuha natin? 1.2 meter squared. Okay? Divided by, ano yung frequency per day in 3 divided doses. Okay? So, binigay daw siya in 3 divided doses. So, let's say for example, ang inhanap natin yung Y, or let's just write D. Okay? So, it's 200 times 1.2 divided by 3. So, your D is 80 mg. Your desired dose is 80 mg. Ngayon, basahin natin yung tanong. How much quantity will the nurse give per administration? Okay, yung 80 mg hindi naman siya volume, no? It's actually the weight. So, anong formula ang gagamitin natin to get the quantity? Diba? Ito yon, the amount. D over H times Q equals X. Meron ka ng D eh. Okay, so follow the D over H times Q. D is 80 mg. Meron bang dose on hand? Meron. Okay, may nakikita ka bang dose on hand dyan? The dose on hand is 20 mg. And what is the quantity? 2 ml. Alright? Huwag gagamitin yung 10 ml. Ibig sabihin lang ng 10 ml, 10 ml yung laman ng bottle. Pero ano yung sabi ko kanina? Always look first doon sa unit na merong per. If it is a liquid drug preparation. So, kung merong may per doon sa bottle, the first one is the H, the second one is the quantity. So, 20 mg per 2 ml. Ibig sabihin yung H mo ay 20 mg and then, ano yung quantity? 2 ml. So, D over H times 2. Okay, so 80 divided by 20 times 2. So, ilan ang quantity lahat nung ibibigay mo doon sa patient? 8 ml. Okay? So, how much quantity will the nurse give per administration? It's 8 ml. Alright? Now, let's take a look at vials and ampules, syringes, and intravenous drugs and fluids. So, lahat kayo, alam nyo naman ang vials na dapat, no? So, glass vial, merong liquid, merong powder, okay? So, again, kapag liquid, pag hinahanap natin yung D over H times Q, i-check nyo yung may per. So, yung D, desired dose, yung H, kung ano yung 10 mg, yung quantity per 2 ml. So, kung 10 mg per 2 ml, yung nakalagay doon sa liquid prepared drug, 10 mg per 2 ml, 10 mg si H, 2 ml si Q. Alright, pag naman powder yung vial, andyan yung dosage for sure, nakalagay yung H dyan, pero wala kang makikita dyan na per ml. Kasi pag powder yung vial, ikaw yung mag-incorporate ng liquid. Universal rule, 100 mg, 1 ml. Pero depende siya sa hospital policy. Kaya nga importante na kapag may matitirang gamot at may gagamit na iba, nilalabelan natin yung bottle para yung next nurse alam kung ano yung kanyang times Q. Kasi kung gaano karami yung nilagay mong solution, yun yung times Q. Alright? Plastic vials, meron din, no? Ampule. So, ang ampule pwedeng liquid, ang ampule pwede ring powder yung laman. Pero bihira yung ampules na powder form yung nasa loob. Usually, vials siya. Okay? So, now, ito naman yung isa pang posibleng computation or tanongin sa inyo, no? Kung ikaw yung nurse na kukuha ng mga gamot, for example, sa pharmacy, sa ospital, gaano karami yung kailangan niya na ampules or vials, for example, for the entire duration of the treatment regimen. Okay? Ampicillin, so it's an antibiotic, no? Ang isang ampicillin vial na powder daw ay may 500 mg na dosage. So, nilagyan ng nurse ng 500 or ng 5 ml ng sterile water. Ang kailangan ng client, 125 mg ng drug, Q8 for 7 days. So, ang tanong, how many vials yung makukonsume ng patient for the entire drug regimen? Okay? So, ang tanong natin dito, ang hinahanap natin, how many vials for the entire drug regimen? So, una, gaano ba karami ang dose ng isang vial? Ang isang vial daw ay merong 500 mg. No? So, one vial, 500 mg. Okay? Ngayon, ang tanong naman, ilang dose magagamit ng pasyente ang isang vial? So, 500 mg yung isang vial. Gaano ba siya karami per dose? Ang kailangan ng patient, 125 mg per dose. Which means, if you divide 500 mg into 125 mg, no? Kasi 125 mg siya per dose. Okay? So, ang isang vial, makakailan siyang doses? 4 doses. Okay? Ang isang vial na 500 mg, magagamit ng pasyente in 4 doses. Kasi ang kailangan lang niya per dose, 125. Ang tanong, ilang doses ba ang kailangan ng patient? So, let us look. Ibibigay daw yung ampicillin Q8 hours for 7 days. So kung Q8 hours, ilang doses yun per day? 3 doses. Alright? So 3 doses per day. E gaano kadaming araw? Ilang araw? 7 days. Okay? 3 doses per day times 7 days. So, ilang doses lahat ang magagamit ng patient? 21 doses. So, simply 21 divided by 4. Okay? So, ang sagot, 5.25. But you cannot count a 5.25 vial. So, ilang vials ang kailangan ng patient mo? 6 vials. Okay? So, ang una mo nang aalamin, gaano karami ba yung isang vial? Sumunod, yung isang vial na yan, ilang doses ba ang magagamit dyan? And then after nun, gaano karami ba lahat ng doses? So, may 21 doses. So, simply divide the total number of doses kung ilang dose meron sa isang vial. And then, you always have to get, of course, the whole number. Okay? Walang point kasi there's no such thing as 5.25 vials or 5.25 ampules. Alright? Syringes, so alam nyo na dapat yung mga parts ng syringes, no? How to aspirate, how to inject, okay? Yung iba-ibang rules, kung intradermal, sub-Q, IM, Z-track, IV, no? So yung IV drugs, you will learn also how to insert IV lines in your higher years. Okay, ano na ba yung pinakamaliit na syringe na nakita nyo? Actually, this one is a 1 ml syringe. Pero ngayon, meron ng 0.5 ml syringe. But usually, these are pre-filled syringes. Yung nabibili na meron ng gamot doon sa loob ng syringe, yung mga 0.5 ml. The biggest syringe is a 60 ml syringe. Obviously, pag malalaki yung syringes, hindi yan manually ini-inject, no? Kailangan ng machine or what we call a syringe pump. Alright? So again, syringes plus the different gauges of the needles. So the higher the number of the gauge, the smaller the needle. Okay, and so on and so forth. Ito yung binabanggit kong pre-filled syringe. You buy the syringe with a drug already. Of course, it is more expensive. Pero yung kanyang mga advantages, reducing the risk of medication error, reducing the risk of contamination. Okay? Next, let's go now to intravenous drugs and fluids. So this time, no, ang kinocompute naman natin, gaano kadami yung rate nung pagbibigay ng fluid or drugs. Alright? Ibig sabihin, hindi lang ito simpleng push. Yung intradermal, pinupush yan. Yung sub-Q, pinupush yan. Yung IM, pinupush yan. Pero yung IV, pwedeng push, pwedeng drip. So, pag dinidrip, we have to know the rate. Okay? Itong formula na ito is another formula that we need to memorize. This one is a manual regulation of IV drugs and fluids. So, manual. So, again, formula, ml per hour times drop factor over 60 minutes. So, ang drop factor is in drops per ml. Dalawang klase yan, macroset or microset. Okay? Pag macroset, usually 15 drops per ml or depende sa manufacturer. Minsan 20 drops per ml, minsan 25 drops per ml, depende. Pero pag microset, no, it is always 60 drops per ml. So, drops per ml ang unit of measurement ng drop factor. Pero yung hinahanap nating sagot, drops per minute. Ibig sabihin, pag niregulate mo siya, sa 1 minuto, ilang patak. Okay? Kaya manual siya. Alright? So, again, I will write here the formula. So, ano yon? ml per hour lagi siyang ml per hour, ha? It is standard times drop factor. So, ano nga yung drop factor? Kapag microset, always 60 drops per ml. Pero kapag microset, it's always 60 drops per ml. Pero pag macroset, depende. 15, 20, 25, it depends. Okay? And then, standard ulit ito, 60 minutes. At ano yung magiging sagot dyan? Yung magiging sagot dyan, let's say for example, we're looking for the value of y ulit. Y drops per minute. Ilang patak sa 1 minuto. Alright? So, yun yung formula. ml per hour. So, ito hindi ito magbabago. It's always ml per hour. Volume and time. So, ml per hour times drop factor, whether macro, micro, standard yun ito, 60 minutes. And then, ang sagot, ilang patak per minute. Remember, drop factor, drops per ml. Ibig sabihin, ilang patak yung 1 ml. Okay? Ito naman, ilang patak yung 1 minuto. Okay? So, let's have the difference between a macro and a microset. Ito yung IV chamber, no, nung suero. So, dito nakalagay, nakadiretso sa ilalim niyan yung IV tubing, tas papuntang patient. Ito din sa ilalim niya yung IV tubing, papuntang patient. Okay? Tapos sa taas nitong mga ito, nandyan yung IV bottles. So, ito yung patak. Alright? Pag ang napansin nyo, malaking patak na galing sa plastic, that's macroset. Pero pag ang patak ay maliit na galing sa needle, ito yung microset. So, macro, walang needle, micro, may needle. Ano ang drop factor ng macro? Whether 15, 20, 25, or others, anong unit of measurement? Drops per ml. Ito naman, anong drop factor? It's always 60 drops per ml. Ibig sabihin, so let's say for example, ito ay 15 drops per ml. Ibig sabihin ng drop factor, yung 15 na patak. 1, 2, 3 hanggang 15 na patak. Yung 15 patak, 1 ml yun. Ito naman, microset, 60 drops per ml, 60 na patak. No? Yung 60 drops, yun yung 1 ml. So, macroset, microset. So, whenever we compute the rate, no, gaano kadaming patak in 1 minute, kailangan mong malaman kung macroset siya or microset. Kasi pag ni-regulate mo yan, ito yung relo mo, so relo. Tapos nagbibilang ka, nag-regulate ka, drops per minute. Okay? This one is another scenario that you can see. So ito yung IV bottle, pero wala kang makitang IV chamber agad. Meron pang isang calibrated cylinder na nakalagay, saka pa lang yung IV tubing. We call this a calibrated cylinder. Minsan ang tawag dito soluset. Okay? This is usually intended for children o kaya no, pag magbibigay ka ng mga gamot para hindi naman masasayang yung ang daming laman kasi ng IV bottle. So, sterile pa rin ito. Konti lang kasi yung ginamit mo, tas pwedeng nag-incorporate ka dyan ng drug. Alright? All calibrated cylinders and all solusets are what kind of sets? Microsets. Okay? Kasi lagi siyang may karayom dyan. So, lahat ng drop factor ng calibrated cylinder or soluset, microset, ang drop factor niya 60 drops per ml. Alright? Now, this is another thing. Ito hindi siya manual. Okay? Kasi meron kang machine. Ang tawag dito, infusion pump. Ang tawag dito, syringe pump. Yung infusion pump, ang nilalagay dyan, yung IV tubing. Okay? Ang nilalagay naman dito sa syringe, yung syringe. So, pwedeng suero yung nandito, pwedeng gamot yung nandyan. Now, kung meron kang machines, okay, you do not need the long formula. Kasi pipindutin mo na lang dyan kung ano yung rate. Okay? Basta't may machine ha. Pag meron kang machine, infusion pump or syringe pump, you do not need this long formula. Ano lang ang kailangan mo? Simply the ml per hour. So, ito lang yung kailangan mong computein pag meron kang machine. Because these machines, sila na mismo yung magre-regulate na sa loob ng isang oras, gaano karami yung gusto mong ilagay sa patient. Okay? So, standard siya with the machine, just the ml per hour. Ito lang. Pero pag walang machine, manual kang magre-regulate, you need this entire formula. Okay? So, let's have examples. The nurse must give D5LR 1 liter for 8 hours using a macro set of 15 drops per ml. At what rate will the nurse regulate the IVF? So, let us use the formula. What is the ml per hour? ml per hour. Okay? Hindi pwedeng 1 liter kasi ang kailangan ml. So, convert 1,000 ml per 1 hour. So, ml per hour. What is the drop factor? The drop factor is 15 drops per ml. Okay? So, times 15 drops per ml divided by standard ulit siya, 60 minutes. So, ganun lang siya kasimple. 1,000 divided by 1, sorry. let me correct. It's 8 hours. So 1,000 divided by 8 times 15 divided by 60. So ang magiging sagot mo dyan, 31.25. But whenever you are to manually regulate an IV fluid, you cannot compute the 0.25 drop. So, lagi siyang whole number. So, ang magiging sagot mo, 32 drops per minute. Okay? 32 drops per minute. Okay? So, again, ml per hour times drop factor over 60 minutes equals drops per minute. Sa loob ng isang minuto, bibilangin mo dapat 32 drops. So, using your watch with the second hand, regulate 32 drops per minute. Alright, so ml per hour, drop factor, 60 minutes. Next example. The doctor orders 500 ml of D5-IMB to be given for 12 hours using a Soluset. The nurse must set the IV at what rate? So this time, Soluset siya. Ibig sabihin, microset. Yung kanina kasi, macroset. So ml per hour times drop factor over 60 minutes. ml is 500, hour is 12, drop factor is 60, and then 60 minutes. Okay? So, kung ito yung gagamitin ko ulit, no? Ano yung ml natin? 500. Ano yung hours natin? 12. And then, ano yung drop factor natin? Soluset is laging 60. And then, standard naman siya, 60 minutes. So, if the case is like this, the answer is 41.67. You cannot count the 0.67 drop. So your final answer here is round off to whole number, 42 drops per minute. Okay? Next, another example. At what rate will the nurse regulate a client's IV fluid if the doctor orders a bolus? When you say bolus, you administer rapidly. A bolus of 600 ml of D5LR to run for 3 hours. The administration set delivers 25 drops per ml. Again, ml per hour times drop factor over 60 minutes equals the rate, which is drops per minute kasi manual siya. So, ano yung ating ml? 600. Ano yung ating hour? 3 hours. Ano yung ating drop factor? 25. Divided by 60 minutes. So, I'll use this again. Our ml is 600. Our hour is 3. Ano yung drop factor na sinabi? 25. Over 60 minutes. So, ang magiging sagot mo naman doon ay 83.33. There is no 0.33 drop. So, just a round off, it's 83 drops per minute. Okay? Another example. Ito naman, iba yung hinahanap. Okay? A client's 500 ml of bottle runs at 50 drops per minute in a microset. Meron ka ng rate na 50 drops per minute. ito yung drop factor mo, at ito yung volume mo. Ang tanong, how long will this fluid be consumed? Which means, ang hinahanap natin, yung hour. Ito. Okay, which go back again to the mathematics. Okay, babalik na naman tayo sa mathematics. Yung algebra. So, balikan natin. What is our ml? 500. Okay? What is our hour? Wala. Yun nga yung hinahanap. So, let's look for the value of y. Y hour. Okay? What's our drop factor? Microset. So, the drop factor is 60. Divided by 60. Ngayon, ano daw yung rate? Drops per minute. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ito ay 50 drops per minute. So, ang tanong, gaano kadami or gaano katagal yan kinoconsume? Again, I can multiply this. So, 500 times 60. Diba? I can multiply this. Y times 60. Kung may equal sign, pwede ko silang i-cross multiply. So, again, tatanggalin ko muna lahat ng units of measurement. Okay? So, ang pwede mong gawin dyan, 500 times 60. Okay? And then, y times 60. So, 60 y equals 50. What can I do with the 2 cross multiply? Actually, dito pa lang, pwede ko na yung i-cancel. Kasi parehong 60 eh. Diba? Para mas maliit yung number. Okay? So, ang mangyayari dyan, 500 equals 50y. Kasi cross multiply. Okay? Kinancel ko na. Pareho namang 60 para hindi na lumaki yung value. I wanna know the number of y. So, I just need to divide both sides by, para y na lang ang matira. Divide both sides by 50. Okay? So, 500 divided by 50 is 10. Ang natira na lang, y. And what is y? It's the number of hour. So, ilang oras yung IV fluid na yan? It's to run for 10 hours. Okay? Another example. The 6 a.m. nurse, upon arrival, checks a client's 1 liter of IVF bottle and reads its level at 400 cc at 25 drops per minute. The order is for the bottle to be consumed for 10 hours using a macro set of 15 drops per ml. Given the level at 6 a.m., what time should the remaining fluid be consumed? So, simple lang. 6 a.m. nurse ka. Pagpasok mo dun sa room ng patient mo, chinek mo yung level ng IV bottle at gano'n na siya kadami na lang, 400 ml na lang. Ang tanong, yung 400 ml na yan, gaano katagal mauubos? Or, anong oras siyang mauubos? Kung 6 a.m., 1 liter siya. Okay? So, in this case, no, napakasimple lang nung pwede mong gawin para malaman kung gaano kadalas mauubos or gaano katagal na lang mauubos. Okay? You actually don't need the very long formula. Yung sinasabi ko kanina na kailangan mo na lang pag ang inaalam mo gaano katagal mauubos yan, something like that. It's just the ml per hour. Okay? Lalo na kung given naman yung ml per hour. Alright? Unlike yung previous question natin, ang hinahanap natin yung R. So you really need the long formula. Pero ito, gusto mo lang malaman anong oras mauubos yung ganyan kataas na level. Okay? So it's very simple. Just use the ml per hour. Okay? Ilang ml siya? Total? Lahat. Total. 1 liter. Okay? At yung 1 liter na yan, ilang oras daw dapat maubos? 10. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, simple lang. 1,000 ml over 10 hours. Yun lang ang kailangan mong alamin. Kapag gusto mong malaman kung gaano katagal mauubos yung IV fluid. So, 1,000 ml divided by 10 hours. The answer is 100 ml per hour. Ibig sabihin, sa isang oras, 100 ml ang nakokonsume. Ang tanong, kano na lang ba kadami yung natira? 400. So, you simply need to divide. Yung 400, kung siya ay 100 ml per hour, 400 divided by 100. Okay? Ano ngayon ang sagot? 4 hours. So, ibig sabihin, yung 400 cc na yan, 4 hours pa siyang mauubos. Kung 6 a.m. ka nag-umpisa, plus 4 hours, no? So, yung 6 a.m., what time dapat ma-consume? 10 a.m. is the answer. Okay? So, yung ibang numbers dito, hindi mo na kailangan. Pag ang kailangan mong malaman, gaano na lang katagal mauubos yan, something like this, no? You just need the ml per hour. At pag nakuha mo yung ml per hour, kung gaano karami yung natira, i-divide mo lang siya doon. And that's the number of hours. Okay? Another example. The nurse regulates LR 1,500 ml IV for 12 hours at 125 ml per hour. Drop factor is 20 drops per minute. After 6 hours, how much solution is still remaining in the bottle? So, kamukha nung scenario kanina. Gusto mo lang malaman kung gaano parami yung natitira, gaano pa kadami yung natitira. Okay, so kanina kung ang gusto mong malaman, gaano katagal yan mauubos? ml per hour lang kailangan mo. Ito naman, gaano pa karami yung natitira pag ganitong oras na? The same. Ang kailangan mo lang rin ay ml per hour. Okay? So, yun lang ulit, yung ml per hour. It is already given, actually. 125 ml per hour. So, it's 125 ml per hour. Okay, ngayon, ang gusto mong malaman, after 6 hours, gaano karami yung natitira? So, kung sa isang oras, 125 ang nauubos, no? Gaano kadami ang mauubos in 6 hours? Kasi yun ang gusto mong malaman. Okay? Just simply multiply. So, ang magiging sagot ay 750 ml. So, yung 6 na oras, 750 ml ang makukonsume. Pero ang tanong kasi, gaano pa karami yung matitira after 6 hours? Gaano ba karami yung IV fluid? 1,500 ml. So, yung 1,500 ml, after 6 hours, no? mababawasan siya ng 750 ml. So, masasagot na yung tanong mo na gaano karami ang natitira pa sa bottle after 6 hours, which is 750 ml. Okay? So, again, ml per hour lang kailangan mo, which is very easy kasi given na siya. Sa loob ng 6 na oras daw, gaano pa karami yung natitira? Gaano ba karami yung naubos in 6 hours? So, 125 simply multiply by 6. 750 ml yung naubos in 6 hours. Gaano ba yung kapuno? 1.5. So, 1.5 minus 750, ang natitira pa dapat dyan after 6 hours is another 750 ml. Okay? Or if you just look at the scenario, simply common sense, 6 na oras ay kalahati ng 12 hours. So kung kalahati yan, ano rin ang kalahati nito? So yun yung mga minsan, kailangan mo lang intindihin yung tanong. Okay? Another example. Give 40 ml of metronidazole for 30 minutes using an infusion pump. What rate will the nurse set the machine? What did I say a while ago? If there is a syringe pump or if there is an infusion pump, ang kailangan mo lang na formula ay ml per hour. Kasi may machine. Hindi ka manually magre-regulate. Pag may machine, ano lang ang kailangan mo? ml per hour. So, ml is 40 and hour is 0.5. Okay, bakit 0.5? 30 minutes is 0.5 hours. Alright, so again, pag may machine, ang kailangan mo lang yung ml per hour. Ito lang ang kailangan mo. Hindi mo kailangan to kasi may machine. Okay? Ano yung ml? 40 ml. 40. Ano yung hour? 0.5. You cannot write 30 here. Pag nilagay mo dito 30, ang ibig sabihin yan, 30 hours. Kasi di ba hour. Alright? So, ano dapat ang ilagay mo? Ilang oras yung 30 minutes? 0.5 hours. Okay? So, 40 divided by 0.5 is 80 ml per hour. Ibig sabihin ng 80 ml per hour, yan yung sagot, no? Yung infusion pump, pipindutin mo lang. 80. Toot, toot, 80. So, automatic na siya na in 1 hour, 80 ml yung binibigay ng infusion pump dun sa patient. Okay? Another. Ito naman, syringe pump. So, magbibigay ka ng AB positive na blood, pack RBC, 50 cc, 1 cc is 1 ml, so 50 cc to run for 4 hours. The nurse will use a syringe pump. Again, pag may machine, syringe pump or infusion pump, ano lang ang kailangan mo? ml per hour. So what is our ml? 50. What is our hour? 4. So it's very simple, no? Pag inulit ko lang yan, ml per hour, ang ml ay 50 ml ng dugo. Ang hour, ibigay daw yon for 4 hours yung dugo. So, simply 12.5 ml per hour. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, yung syringe pump, pipindutin ko siya 12.5. By the way, if you are computing manually, I told you full number pag manual kasi you cannot regulate the point something drop. Pero if you have a syringe pump or an infusion pump, use a decimal point up to 1 decimal point. So dahil syringe pump ito, The 12.5 is okay. Okay? So ito, no, pag sinabing secondary or intermittent line, minsan may makikita kang main line, ito siya, yung IV, tapos may isa pang IV. Okay? So there are primary line, there is a primary line, and then sometimes ang dami pang secondary or intermittent lines. It could be drugs, no? Or other transfusions. Okay? Ito naman, sa isang IV tubing, minsan makikita nyo to, yung piggyback, where we can insert medications, IV, or sometimes wala na siyang IV line, pero may naiwang heplock. Also for IV medications, or drugs, or other drugs, or fluids, or transfusions also. Okay, anyway, you will appreciate this more pag nagkaroon kayo ng clinicals. Kasi talagang makakapagbigay kayo ng gamot via heplock kung walang IV tubing or via the piggyback kung may IV tubing. IV route ito. Okay, this is the last. Computing for oral intake. So, isa sa responsibility natin, di ba, yung measuring intake and output. So, we measure intake, no? For example, a client drank 4 ounces of juice and 1 pint of ice cream for an 8-hour shift. The nurse also noted an IV of D5LR 1 liter for the whole shift and amikacin drip 20 cc for 30 minutes. So first question, oral intake. Alin lang ba dyan ng oral intake? Yung 4 ounces of juice and 1 pint of ice cream. So, oral intake, okay, is yung 4 ounces ng juice plus 1 pint of ice cream. That's why I told you, you have to know the conversion. Kasi ang standard na nilalagay natin sa chart, ml or cc. So, 4 ounces, how many ml? Okay? 1 ounce is 30 ml. So 4 times 30 is 120 ml. Ano ngayon yung pint? No? 1 pint is 500 ml. So simply 500 ml. Yan lang yung oral intake niya. So, ano ang oral intake niya? 620 ml. Okay? Second question, what is the total IVF intake? So, IV, 1 liter ng D5LR at 20 cc ng amikacin. So, 1 liter ng D5LR at 20 cc ng amikacin yung IV intake. Again, it should be in ml, no? So 1 liter is 1,000 ml. And cc is equivalent to ml. So 20 ml. So ano ang kanyang IV intake? 1,020 ml. Pero pag ang tanong, total fluid intake, you have to get both the IVF and the oral. So it's simply adding 620 ml plus 1,020 ml. So ang total fluid intake niya is 1,640 ml. Okay? So that's the end of medications and calculations. It's a lot of computations, conversions, no? Understand the question. Even if I teach you a lot of techniques or strategies, if you do not practice on your own, you will not do it correctly. Okay? Ang simple lang ng mga formula na i-memorize. If you are talking about drugs, anong formula? D over H times Q equals X. If you're talking about IV drugs and fluids, anong formula? ml per hour times drop factor over 60 minutes equals drops per minute. Drop factor, pag macro set, 60 macro set is 15 drops per ml or others. Pag microset, 60 drops per ml. Pero yun ay manual regulation. Kung meron kang infusion pump, kung meron kang syringe pump, no, ml per hour. Kung ang kailangan mo ring malaman, gaano katagal mauubos yung fluid na yan? Or, kung ang kailangan mo ring malaman, gaano karami pa yung natitira kung ganitong oras, no? If you are just checking on those at given yung ml per hour, yun lang yung kailangan mo. Okay? Doon naman sa pag-compute ng gamot, if there is a body weight, no? Ano yung formula natin? mg na dose multiply to the kilogram divided by ilang frequency per day. Gano kadalas ibinibigay sa isang araw. Equals ilan yung D, dosage, or D, desired dose, which is ano yung mg niya per dose. Pero kapag naman you are talking about body surface area, no? You need to get the height and weight para makuha yung m squared. The same formula, pero papalitan mo lang yung kilogram ng m squared. Okay? So, again, you have to practice, study, medications and calculations. It's very important that nurses know very well because when you administer drugs, pag kulang, walang effect. Pag sobra, pwedeng ma-overdose yung patient. So, the patients need correct dosages and nurses administer these correct dosages. Okay? So, that's the end. Study well and practice.